Alright, timestamp, it is December 15th, 2025. It's about 3 p.m. My girl came over and we divided up some loot, and she just left a couple minutes ago. The dogs were complaining they wanted to go outside, so I let them outside, and they're standing by the door barking at me. Well, I'm coming out. Come on. Come on, Tanner. Come on. Come on. My cat's being a doofus now. I would like to apologize to anyone with headphones right now. My left ear is now ringing. Thanks for that, pal. Oh. You know, I'm going to have at least 5 people complain about their speakers. Yeah. Rang my left ear pretty good. Boy, I appreciate that. That was so nice of you to share your thoughts with us. Ow. Seriously, my left ear is actually still ringing. Yeah, so I went to bed probably about 8 a.m. Yeah. I just kept getting things done. And just feeling pretty good about things, you know? So, get something done. Sit down, chill for a minute, get something else done. Do some burn barrel action. Hard to believe, but I found some more paper stuffs. My mom was apparently a member of some kind of a rose club. They did a lot of garden club stuff. And my mom was not necessarily obsessed with roses, but was a fan. You know, I get it. And she had printouts and all kinds of other things about how to grow roses, which honestly, I don't care. I do want to do some gardening when I can actually relax, but I'm mostly going to be doing like veg, not as much flowers. Sunflowers, yeah. Get out of ash range. Silent Hill. Well, Scrappy, I'm out here with you. You can do something serious. It's rather breezy and mid 50s, maybe 60 high, somewhere in there. Nice by my standards, but let's see how that's doing. Then, of course, the traditional stack of emails back and forth between her and people from the garden, the Rose Club, whatnot. This is like from 2004, 2005. Or no, this was, these were 2013, 2014. I'm thinking about the investment stuff that I burned the other day. Not like investment, but just a stack of emails on investment strategies, different companies that were selling her investment coaching and their own products through. Big old stack of that. Pretty sure one of the ways that they make money is not in investing, but just selling the idea of investing to other people. I'm going to get wealthy showing you how you could be wealthy. First, write a book about how to make other people buy your book. I just I've seen a lot of that kind of redundancy in the paperwork that I've found here. But my mom did some really good investment stuff, and she also got rooked on quite a few things here and there. And I've seen evidence of both. I would expect nothing less. So yeah, the Roku seems to be rotating through Doctor Who quite a bit. Don't look at me like that. You went outside, remember? But I went to bed, and it's Colin Baker, I think Vengeance on Veros. And I woke up to Sylvester McCoy. I think it was Curse of Fenric, or Curse of the Fenric. Okay. I get to keep fingers. Thank you, Tina. Man, good catch. I like half tossed it and Tuala actually caught it. You'd be good with like popcorn and stuff, wouldn't you? Just right in. But waiting on a payment for this eBay so I can send that out. Somebody bought a Doctor Who lot from me and a Scooby lot, which is cool, but kind of thought I was the only dork in town that did that, you know? Probably not, right? Can't be the only person that's a fan of both. That'd be silly. Right? Did I startle you? Trying to use up some of the stuff that's in the pantry here. Trying to get organized too. Separated a big pack of chicken thighs last night. Fried up some of it with some fresh carrot and radish. And this confuses the hell out of me. This is back when I was here in 23 trying to help my parents. They had a huge amount of Progresso soup on the shelf, which I personally never really cared for Progresso soup. I think it's okay. But I don't think it's spectacular. If you love it, that's cool. Enjoy. Put that down because I need 2 hands to open these things. I'm getting Jinx his cookie. Y'all back off. He came over here like a good kitty, which is so confusing. There you go. Y'all back off. I'd offer you one, Hex, but you'd just try and bury it. Yeah, you're just passing through, man. One per customer. No. Don't do that. But yeah, olive oil, Italian seasoning. It's kind of my go-to. Some fresh carrot, some radish. Fried that up in a pot. And then took 2 cans of lentil soup. Made some rice. Tiny doesn't really care for soup as soup. It's like water with something else in it. Never been really impressed with that. But if I make a thicker soup and basically pour it over rice to where it's almost, you know, that usually works. So yeah, nice protein fix because there's a lot of chicken in there, plus the lentil. You know, most of your beans are pretty high protein iron. So there's seconds for tiny and still probably 12-16 ounces of just the soup, which I may actually heat that up here in a bit and have that. Still pretty thick. More of a stew really than a soup. Because I did 2 of the cans of soup. I added 2 carrots, 2 radish, and probably a pound and a half, maybe 2 pounds of chicken. I mean, I figured chicken and lentil would work pretty well together. Just basic Italian blend. I've always found Progresso soup to be kind of bland. And it's the reduced sodium as well, which I absolutely approve of because I don't understand the American predilection for putting salt in everything. I really don't. I mean, some salt is okay, but it's so easy to overdo it, and we tend to overdo it here. And there are health repercussions. You know, it just kind of blew my mind because my mom, I still want to say is, you know, my mom was such a salt junkie, and seeing a reduced sodium, reduced salt soup, I remember asking her in 23, and these cans, I think they expired like earlier this year. I did the smell test, the cans were solid, you know, I felt okay with it. Because most things you can do past their best by or expiration date, you know. Just be smart, don't poison yourself, look it up online, double check, make sure. I don't want to get blamed for anybody poisoning themselves. If there are things to look for, do your research before you pop it and you know, consume. But my mom said that she doesn't really care for Progresso soup either. And I remember in 23 I was like, okay, you don't care for this brand of soup. They're all reduced sodium, which I approve of, but you and I both know that you're going to oversalt it to compensate for that. Why did you get them? She said, they were on sale. I'm like, but I've never seen you use any of these. And you, because the first time I did one, she saw that I was doing one for them, and she was like, oh, I don't think I'm going to like this because I don't, and I doctored it with non-salt. And she was like, this is actually quite good. I'm like, yeah, well, you know, that's because I'm quite good at what I do. Yeah, you've done your job. Hey, thank you. Got the memo, Tanner. Oh, dear God. Still difficult getting to the front door. See a Walmart van up front. Hold on a sec. It was part of my Walmart order that they had to ship. If you've done Walmart, they will deliver your normal stuff, and occasionally if they don't have it in the store that you're asking or that you're doing business with, they will ship it, which just means another delivery driver grabs it from another store and brings it. So a couple bottles of cream soda and a big bottle of the Lysol detergent, which we started using during COVID. Because we got the whole kills 99.9% bacteria, COVID being one of them. So, seemed like a good idea. That whole, you know, trying not to die thing. Scrappy, I really need you to get out of my way. Thanks, pal. Wants to be right up in it. The Lysol's really good for getting out unique smells, which around here we've got that too. It's a laundry sanitizer. That's great. Can I help you? Scrappy's just right up in me. But yeah, I asked my mom, I'm like, you got it on sale. She's like, well, yeah. Like, you got 30 cans in here, 40 maybe. It was a good sale. Buying up something that you're never going to actually eat because it's on sale. What are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, why? Yeah, but the first time she knew that I was doing it, and she still went, oh, this is actually pretty good. The second time I made a couple cans for my parents, with some other, like, baked potato kind of stuff. Not necessarily baked potato, because my mom, I think I gave her like either a very small potato or a half potato, because she can do some of that, but the starch, diabetic, giant baked potato, horrible idea. I forget what I did with it, but I did the soup as like one of the main, like a two smaller entree meal kind of thing. And she was like, this is really good. Did you make this from scratch? And I'm like, no, I used the Progresso as a base and built off of it. Oh, I normally don't like those. I'm like, yeah, I know, we talked about this. But I've got a shelf full of them, and they are all like at date or like 3 months, 6 months. I'm like, I'm going to start utilizing these because we're dumb if we don't. If we don't, we're being just as big a bonehead as my parents were in that respect. So, and it was pretty good. I did good. Well, yeah, you use what we've got. We've got a lot of stuff that's coming up on date because it's stuff that they bought in 23, 24 and then never did anything with. So I'm going to be kind of pulling back on some of my purchases to try and use up the old stock. I'm still going to be buying like fresh meats and things like that, but a lot of the other stuff I'm going to be stretching it. And I'm not worried about money because we're actually okay for the first time in a while. We're fairly stable. But I also don't want to be wasteful because it's avoidable, But so I got in some of the different, is it Zuru? So my wife is doing the Monster High. She wants to be able to do her own version of dioramas, and I'm doing like dioramas with 6-inch, 4-inch stuff. So I've been grabbing some lots of, I think it's Zuru, yeah, Zuru. Like the mini brands. So I'm finding a bunch of them on eBay. Fairly cheap. Different like food products and like different toys. These are interesting. But yeah, like little, and they look like scary, realistic-ish, like mini brand, like it's the real thing just shrunk down. Kind of cool. So we did what I have so far of the foods and what I have so far of the toys, like separated. Oh, okay, yeah, I got it right here. Yes. Yes. I think Kaiser did something really awful in this room. I'm hoping it was in the robot and I'm not going to find it later. Ooh. That's It's terrifying, man. Here's a good example. A couple of good examples. So we were kind of splitting up the spoils. And whatever we don't... There's some stuff that's way outside of scale for either one of us. We're just going to resell it, you know. But like as an example, the 84, get over here. She had a Frankie Stein handy, and I had the 84 over here, so we're looking at, you know, scale of like that. Say Dora the Explorer doll, more or less, in what would be like a shelf display box. You know, and you look at it from a display standpoint. You know, if he was buying a doll for his robotic daughter, you know. Like these, basically the X-Shot, the Zuru brand, but it's basically like a Nerf gun. Kind of cool. Very much. I've put the full size ones on the shelf before. I've stocked this. It's crazy to me. But like from an 11-inch doll standpoint, that's way under scale. But again, for a 6-inch, he's 5.5. You know? So like all these guys came to me because she can't use them for her 11-inch. But there were some other toys that are like, they would be a little high and outside for a 6-inch or a 4-inch. And she's like, I'll take those. You know? Just all over the place, really, I gotta admit, kind of neat. There's some Marvel in here. Where are you? You know, that box is coming apart. I can fix that. That's it. Ear hogs. Little tiny display box and everything. You know, this is my thumb. Robo Alive is like, I guess, a remote control snake kind of thing going on there. Obviously, it's not a real remote control snake in the box. Ready to roll. Blaze Speedway. So this would be like a car track kind of thing for like a Hot Wheels. It's in, you know, the display box that you would find at the shelf. You know, at Wally or Toys R Us. Which apparently is making something of a comeback, and I'm happy for them. I hope it's them in a pure sense and not more fun and games from the venture capitalists that tried to kill it. That would be swell. But like a little Ren action figure. And again, from a 6-inch scale, figuring that in real life this would be like a 6 or an 8-inch tall figure. Grabbing that off the shelf. You know? Yeah. So I can do like a toy store diorama kind of thing. Which, if I'm going to do something with the Autons, do a Doctor Who Mall Madness kind of diorama. But I've got another baggie, a little bit smaller than this, because I didn't get as much of the foodstuffs yet. I've got like 4 or 5, maybe even 10 more lots coming in. Again, I got them real cheap. There were some really high-priced ones online that I walked on by. I got a bag probably about half as big as that with like foodstuffs in it. And it's, you know, like stuff from the meat market, bags of vegetables. There's a little Slurpee. I am amused. But they'll work great from a prop standpoint with the dioramas. Very cool. Very cool. What are we doing? This is the Harry and David milk chocolate caramel. Oh, and in the large face Taz mug that took 8.5 years to get here, unbroken. Finishing off that pot. I did take a shower last night, or this morning. This morning, more accurately. It was last night for me, but this morning for, the rest of the world. Because, yeah, I think I took my shower at like 6 or 7 a.m., getting ready for bed. I got a load in the washer, and then when I got up, I put it from the washer to the dryer. I'm going to be going back to bed here in a bit, because I slept from either 8 or 9 a.m. till about noon. So like 3 hours sleep. I'm still pretty wiped. But yeah, my girl came in, did a couple things around the house, had some cereal, and then finally came over and was like, "Hey baby, I'm here. Are we gonna do anything?" It's like, but I made tremendous progress over here. You guys have seen the mess behind me on most occasions. That's right. So, Janus, that's right, you, he will be free tonight. Boom, boom, boom. Pull that crate, clean it really good, because it'll get used again around here, I'm sure. If we do have to get the place sprayed, we're going to need a way to quarantine animals not inside the house because, chemicals. So we've got 2 or 3 of the large crates and then 3 or 4, maybe even 5 of the mediums, so we should be able to handle everybody. Let the dogs run free in the backyard and make sure the cats are all in crates. We got this. 2 guys per large crate, 1 guy in each medium, and we should have enough for everybody. This all totaled, got 10 animals. When we add everybody up, we have 3 dogs, 7 cats. There are at least 3 crinkly toys that are in the crate right now that did not start out in the crate, that he has reached out his arm, grabbed it, and dragged it through the bars. And I think it's hilarious. Yeah, and one of them, he was actually punching Scrappy through the bars because Scrappy tried to take it back, and he was actually like, "No, that's mine." That was funny. Scrappy's looking at me like, "You just took my toy." It's like, you got a whole bucket over there, just chill. Because he does. He has a big old bucket of toys in between Blastroids and Gauntlet. He's not doing without. He's good. He's good. All right, you two. Oi. Can't take them anywhere. But once the crate's out of there, because quite a few of the stacks behind me, including the clear totes and even this pink stack here, that's like eBay and or empty storage latch tops and whatnot. A lot of that can actually get pushed into that. I got to clean the floor and the wall there because, but a lot of that can get pushed back into that corner, and suddenly we have a dance floor over here. The only thing making it not a complete, sock hop ready floor is I'm going to have those 2 chairs and the cart, which has the printer and all the paper and stuff like that. It's going to have an inbox so that I can try and go through all the damn paperwork that actually may be relevant that we don't even know. We've looked through the stuff we were looking for, but I need to actually go back through what we kept and say, this is medical information about my mom. Is it relevant? Do we file it or do we burn it? You know what I mean? This is her last annual checkup from 2025. let's keep that just as a matter of record. You know, these are all superfluous bills and other paperwork. I need to pay this. Um, I've gotten a couple of bills for her from like July and August, which okay, so my mom died on May 8th. If you're billing me for services provided in July or August, how did that work? Because we buried her on May 20th. Was there an exam? And if so, how did that work? You know what I mean? So I've got some paperwork that may or may not be sketch that I kind of want to look at. If you prefer the word sus, we can go with that. Um, I like them both. They're both fun. But yeah, I need to go through all the paperwork just to find out, what are you? I have a certain level of mistrust at this point. I try not to be cynical, but if you performed a medical procedure on my mom in August, um, you need help. You need help. Something has gone horribly wrong, and also I should get the authorities involved. Because, number one, that's illegal. Number two, you're weird. I don't know how else to put it. You got your issues have issues. So we're going to look at that a little bit more carefully. But yeah, I've got a stack of stuff that I need to go through just to see what's legit. Most of it is stuff that I'm not going to need. Um, and I know that going into it, but some of it may be stuff that I will file just for posterity and curiosity, and if, you know, a billing question or a curiosity question from the state or a lawyer comes up, I can, you know, yes, she was renal stage 4. Here's the documentation on that. You know, dialysis was discussed. You know, I don't know. This is my first time, so I'm still figuring out what I'm going to need and not need. But I've got enough common sense to where some of it I can look at and go, I will never need this, and some of it I will look at and go, maybe. Where my mom would keep every scrap of paper, I'm not afraid to keep scraps of paper if I think they may be relevant for, you know, the affairs at hand. Um, I'm not going to keep pay stubs of my father's from the 70s. You know, I might keep one as like a timestamp and also just as an interesting footnote of, you know, my dad is a skilled engineer and this is what he was making per hour in 1978. You know, like I think he worked at Chiron Electric for a while. You know, this is what he made there, just as a snapshot, keeping one pay stub, not all 8 years of pay stubs from the I'm not making this up. Terrifying amount of paper. That's why I spend so much time at the burn barrel. And it's not needed. But paper keeping is apparently an OCD thing. I looked it up. I was curious. Yep. It's in there. So is list making, which my mom made some lists. Bizarre lists too. Lists that don't matter to anyone. You know, top 10 favorite 10 vegetables in Austria. Number one, if you've got that burning of a curiosity, Google. And number two, why? Why was this important in that moment to write this down? Had, because a lot of it got burned, entire notebooks, like spiral bound notebooks, where every page is some kind of odd top 10, top 20 list. Stuff that Family Feud wouldn't even touch, just because they would not touch it. Popular 5-syllable words starting with the letter R. What game show are you preparing for? Because I don't want to be on that one. I watched some more recent Wheel of Fortune. The categories have gotten weird. Old school Wheel of Fortune, I'll smoke you on that. But I imagine there are probably a lot of like English major type people that are like, oh yeah, no, that I rock that. But yeah, no, the lists are just the only one, and I think I actually kept this one. I think I kept this and put it in my file. The top 10 places or top 20 places I want to visit before I die. I kept that one as a reminder. Because I think she was able to cross off 3. Because she was busy waiting for Dad to finish his projects. And then, between his brain and her health, too late, that window closed. And I don't want to be that. You know what I mean? If I've got a list of things my bucket list, I want to actively be working on it. Obviously, I'm in a bit of a hiatus at the moment. I'm currently occupied. But once this is wrapped up, start crossing things off that list. For picks too, you know. I don't want to be in a hospital on a respirator, wife at home, burning the place down, changing locks because of a burglar that doesn't exist, and suddenly remember, we were going to go to Alaska. That happened, by the way. I think that was like in February. We're going to go to Alaska. No, you're not, Mom. You're tied to a tank, and Dad, his brain's broken. The state may put him in a home. Oh, yeah, that's true. I'm not driving you there, and Dad can't drive you there. How is this happening? But, so. Yeah, I think I'm going to have a bowl of soup. It is very good. The chef is master. I'm going to have that, and I'm going to take a nap. Or, sleep part 2. Yeah, it's a good thing I'm not trying to do a 9 to 5 right now. That would not work. But yeah, actually I may need to wait until mail comes because I've got 5 packages coming in. A bunch of smaller packs like this. This is 3 or 4 packs combined, but it's even a little Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figure. It's a Leonardo. There's a Raphael in here too, but you can kind of see the Leonardo peeking through over here. Yeah, doling them out, and she was like, "Oh, this is yours for sure." It's like, "Oh, cool." Because of what we have going on. Yeah. I need to reset the dryer too. I'm wearing my OnlyFans costume. Denim shorts. It's nothing quite like that. And my Crocs, very sexy. Yeah, soup sounds good. All right, make it a great day.